everyone around the world, please listen carefully. If you have ever wondered why technology keeps advancing, yet ordinary people seem to be working harder than ever. If you have ever asked why wealth keeps concentrating into fewer and fewer hands. If you have ever wondered whether Karl Marx's vision of a communist society was impossible, or simply never implemented correctly, then this message is for you. For more than 150 years, people have debated socialism and communism. Many attempts were made, many failed, and because of those failures, millions of people concluded that socialism itself must be impossible. But what if the real problem was not the goal? What if the real problem was the method? The central idea behind Marx's vision was actually very simple. The people who create value should collectively own and control the means of producing that value. Yet in many historical attempts, ownership and power became concentrated in governments, bureaucracies, or political elites. Workers often remained workers. Managers remained managers. Ordinary people still had little control over the economic institutions that shaped their lives. The promised society never fully emerged. So perhaps the question is not whether socialism can work. Perhaps the question is, can we design a better path toward it? This is where the Socialist Health Club model comes in. Our approach does not begin with revolution. It does not begin with seizing political power. It does not depend on forcing anyone to participate. Instead, it begins with building practical economic institutions that people can voluntarily join. We start with healthcare. Members contribute to establish clinics. The clinic is not owned by a private capitalist. It is not designed to maximize profits for shareholders. Instead, it is collectively supported and operated for the benefit of the community and the workers who provide the service. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and staff are not simply working to generate returns for investors. They become participants in a system where value is directed back toward the people who create and use it. This is the first step, a practical experiment in reducing dependence on profit-driven ownership and increasing collective participation. But healthcare is only the beginning. If a model like this proves sustainable, similar principles could be applied to pharmacies, grocery stores, food production, logistics, housing, education, and many other sectors. Over time, networks of community-owned institutions could emerge, not through force, not through government mandates, but because people see benefits and choose to participate. This is one of the biggest differences between our approach and many past attempts. Previous models often tried to transform society from the top down. Our model grows from the bottom up. Previous models relied heavily on state control. Our model relies on voluntary participation and practical demonstration. Previous models sought to change society first and prove themselves later. Our model seeks to prove itself first and let society decide. Why is this important today? Because humanity is entering a new era. Artificial intelligence and automation are rapidly transforming the economy. Machines can increasingly perform work that once required millions of people. If ownership remains concentrated among a small number of capital owners, the benefits of technological progress may become increasingly unequal. The result could be greater wealth concentration, social instability, and growing frustration among ordinary people. But there is another possibility. A future where productive assets are increasingly owned and governed by communities and workers. A future where technological progress benefits society more broadly. A future where people are not merely employees, but participants in the institutions that shape their lives. Many will say this is unrealistic, but every major transformation in history once seemed unrealistic. There was a time when kings ruled by divine right. There was a time when democracy seemed impossible. There was a time when slavery was considered permanent. History changes when people imagine and build alternatives. We are not claiming to have created a perfect system. We are proposing a practical direction, a peaceful path, a voluntary path, a path that attempts to solve problems through institution building rather than conflict. If you believe humanity deserves a fairer future, if you believe economic systems should evolve as technology evolves, If you believe workers and communities should have a greater role in shaping the economy, then we invite you to study the Socialist Health Club model. Discuss it, challenge it, improve it, and if you find value in it, help us build it. Because perhaps the next chapter of human civilization will not begin with a revolution. Perhaps it will begin with ordinary people choosing to create something better together. Final call to action. So let me ask you a question. Throughout history, every great change began with a small number of people who refused to accept that the world had to stay the way it was. The abolition of slavery, the rise of democracy, the creation of public education, the advancement of human rights. None of these changes happened because everyone agreed from the beginning. They happened because a few people saw a better future and decided to build it. Today, humanity stands at another turning point. Artificial intelligence is transforming society. Economic inequality continues to grow. Millions of people can see that something is wrong, but very few can see a direction forward. We believe we've found a direction, not a perfect answer. Not a finished system, but a practical path that can be tested, improved and expanded, and we cannot do it alone. We are looking for thinkers, builders, doctors, engineers, teachers, entrepreneurs, workers, students, and anyone who genuinely wants to help shape the future of humanity. If you've ever dreamed of changing the world, if you've ever felt that humanity deserves a better economic system, if you want to be remembered as someone who helped humanity take the next step in its evolution, then join our awakening movement. Study the model, challenge the ideas, help improve the system, spread the message. Become part of the team that helps build the first real template for a new civilization. Most people spend their lives adapting to the world they inherited. A few chose to help create the world that future generations will inherit. The question is, which one would you be? Join us. Let us build the future together. History remembers those who ruled, but humanity remembers those who changed civilization. Join the awakening movement and help build the next chapter of human history.